So, if you're as crazy as I am, you probably ended up watching the entire part 1 and part 2 of the Democrat debates Wednesday and Thursday night. And the entire broadcast of that was a straight clown show, honestly. It really was just a circus. It was crazy. I watched it the whole way through, all 4 hours cumulatively. And, I mean, there was not a single difference between any of them. I think the second night was probably the craziest one, just because, you know, you obviously had Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders and Kamala Harris and Cory Booker. Yeah, you had all the names that you kind of knew in your face right there. Just attacking each other like sharks over blood in the water. It's pretty crazy. And it was almost entertaining. The first night, I kind of went apeshit, kind of just really spilled my thoughts out. The second time, I kind of just sat back and watched. That was more analytical than commentary, just because of how insane everything was and the contenders that were there. And some people obviously had never heard of on both sides. I'd never heard of some people. I'm not going to lie. I can't keep up with all 20 of these people. Definitely the big names you just know from history and know from the news and know from them what they've done and what they put themselves out to believe in, which is all basically universal. It's all about the same thing. It's all crazy. They all have the same ideas of just straight socializing America to a point where it's almost unrecognizable whatsoever. And it's damaging altogether. And unless they are just criminally organized and they absolutely believe what they're saying to be real and they're simultaneously doing it to destroy America because they know they can, especially with the illegal immigration thing, when they all raise their hands up, when the moderator asked, I forgot if it was Chuck Todd or someone else, asked if they would all accept health care for illegal immigrants, every single one of them the second night raised their hand. And Joe Biden kind of hesitated, it looked like. I don't know. I think Joe Biden's just kind of like I'll go wherever the wind blows kind of type deal with policy and with his opinions. It just seems like he just kind of goes wherever, doesn't really care. Kamala Harris obviously attacked him hard on the stage. But they all wanted health care for illegal immigrants. They all agreed on that completely. That alone will destroy us in an economic absolute horror show if we allow illegals to have such unprecedented access to taxpayer-covered health care. Because, I mean, who else would pay for that? Health insurance companies aren't going to pay for that. Private companies are not. That's why they have to have Medicare for all. I mean, obviously, it's going to help for the illegals, too. So it's government-run, government-subsidized. You can't really opt out of it. And it's going to forever make us bankrupt, even quicker than we expect to be today. No doubt. It just kind of rubs me wrong. How did we get here to this point? The Democrat Party, it wasn't even a Democrat debate. It was a communist, socialist, New World Order debate. That's what it pretty much was. And it was all the same players just arguing about the same thing. Because at the end of the day, they all agree about the same thing, basically. I mean, you watched, even though there's a little bickering here and there, but I mean, still, they're just trying to out-left each other. That's pretty much what they were trying to do, is out-left each other. No real cognitive ideas to really save anything. according to the Drudge poll, Andrew Yang got the highest vote. Granted, they only called on him once or twice within the entire 2 hours there. He was probably the only one. Granted, his idea is stupid. He was probably the only one that didn't offer free healthcare, free this, free college tuition, free that. It really didn't make it a clear statement like that. Although maybe he supports it. I don't know enough about him. However, he did offer $1,000 to everybody a month, which is insane altogether. Universal income is a dumb idea, and it will ultimately bankrupt us because someone's paying for that. And they're going to have to raise taxes for all these welfare programs, all these social programs. They're just getting you ready to get used to it. God forbid a Democrat does win the election in 2020, which I highly doubt it. I honestly think they kind of shot themselves in the foot that night. NBC already screwed up the night just because of the technical difficulties they were having, and it was just a whack job. It was crazy. That was an awful moderation. I watched the whole thing. I just couldn't. I honestly laughed during some of it just because it's so stupidly funny. But at the same time, it's extremely dangerous because this is real and this could happen. I honestly think it's kind of insane altogether that there's debates held a year and a half before the actual election day. To be honest with you, it's kind of ridiculous. I don't know of another single country that does it. Most of them kind of do it within a few months or a year at least. I mean, we should at least do it within 2019, or it's 2019 now. We should do it within at least 2020, the election year, and do that continuously for every year. That's kind of something we should probably look at eventually, because it just kind of gets on people's nerves. And half the time, all the contenders are people that you already kind of know, for the most part, especially now. These people are just so brazen with what they believe that they're just out there in the public just really making it clear about what they want. So how do you compete with that? Well, you compete with Americana ideas. Personally, I do think Trump's going to win it again. With all of Trump's imperfections, I do think he's going to get it. Rightfully so, to be honest. He's better off getting it than anyone else, at this point especially. Now, the Republican side, I really haven't gotten a whole lot of time to look into who's running for office on the Republican side. It's definitely not as many as the Democrats at the moment, or the socialists at the moment, that are hell-bent on destroying America from within. The only one, probably of all of them, Tulsi Gabbard was probably, the only one. I think she won the first night's poll, and then Andrew Yang won the second night's. Tulsi Gabbard was the only one that was... The only thing I really believe in her in is anti-war stance, non-interventionary wars and regime change, going against that. Really, that's really what we should have today. But we've got too many idiots like John Bolton really running the show right now, and they all keep thinking that Trump's the one trying to go into Iran, which is on purpose. They're obviously saying it's him, but, clearly from the news and from what he says on Twitter and, what he really is trying to do versus the warmongers within the executive branch, he's probably the only one there, one of the only ones there, if not, really preventing war in the Middle East, in Iran, in other areas. He's definitely an anti-war candidate. There's even a piece about Pat Buchanan that was talking about pretty much, Tulsi Gabbard replacing John Bolton, like we thought he was going to do. I had a feeling he wasn't going to do that. But see, that's one of the only things. Besides that, they're all about climate change. They're all about the social issues. They really pull at your heartstrings, don't they? They really pull at your heartstrings. They really try and find your weak spots when it comes to emotional-based politics, identity politics. Nothing has to do with issues, nothing to do with policy, real issues, real policy. Just really everything is this race, identity politics, and basically social engineering. It's insane. These people are out to get us, and there's no doubt about it. I don't see another option out of the Democrat Party. They're just getting more and more far left. They're not the Democrats they used to be when Kennedy was in office, hell, let alone Bill Clinton. Even almost Obama. You can almost argue that Obama, when Obama was running for president, hell, even the second time, 2012, it was not nearly as bad as what they have become now. 2016 was pretty bad. We were warming it up. We had Bernie introducing. Now, everyone's introduced to a socialist idea raining across the country, making a giant shadow, casting a shadow against the light of what we used to be. And people my age and my age group are really accepting this like God spoke, you know? They're really accepting it as if this is what the new utopia is going to be. Sounds great on paper, don't it? But in actuality, it's always a failed state. Always a failed state. Always an economic disaster. Always starvation. Always a top. You want to talk about the 1% really ruling stuff? Always a top. The 1% is nothing. The 1% are people making what? Less than $500,000 a year, I think? Maybe even less than that. I might be over-exaggerating. I got to look back at the numbers again. However, that's really what the 1% is. You want to really go across the people that are like Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, the Rothschilds, the Rockefeller family in the past and even up to today. That's the point, dozens of zeros, 1%, whatever have you, whatever the actual numbers are. Though in an economy like what they want to produce, of course, the lower working class is going to be the ones that suffer. Bernie already admitted that he would raise taxes because he just couldn't get away from that question. He said, yes, he'd raise taxes on the middle class. They're talking about 70%, folks. We're looking at French numbers right now. Europe fell because of moments like this. And that still plagued them to this day. That's what they want. That's what their ultimate goal is. Europe is the model. California is the model. And they're going to drive it across the Midwest and the East, or just make it on the West and East and just fold it in. Pretty crazy. That's the model state. And that's what we got to avoid at all costs. At this point, if you're not following this at a very logical level, you're not here with it. You're not really understanding how important the future is right now. Right now is the decisive future of where we go 20, 30, 40, 50 plus years from now. Right now is the deciding moment. It's a second revolution. Not the revolution Bernie's talking about. That's a different revolution. That's a revolution he wants to bring in that would destroy the working class. Destroy middle America. Destroy families. And that's what the ultimate goal is, to break up the family. The family unit is the most powerful thing on earth. It's a godly thing. It's heavenly. It's unifying. That's real unity. This is Luciferian stuff they're talking about. This is not good. They think they're doing the right thing, but in actuality, they're really hurting people and even themselves. And they have no clue. Or they do, and they're extremely evil. I can honestly probably argue both simultaneously. I don't see why not. There's plenty of evidence of these donors, these billionaires like Soros, just name an example, a simple example. Clear evil, clearly knows what he's doing, doesn't care. And he's got backers in the Democrat Party. He's a clear Democrat Party backer. Media matters, all that stuff. And I can't believe that there's so many people falling for this. I can't believe it. I don't know how else to explain how distraught like it is. How sad it is. How do you change those people? To be honest with you, some people just can't change. Some people can't be changed. There's nothing we can do. We can try our best to spread the message and about liberty and prosperity and freedom and what the founders believed in. The Bill of Rights, son. All that. But they don't care. It's all about the heartstrings, all about what they feel, all about what they want. And the Democrats try to do their best. Hell, half the time they spoke in Spanish the first night. You know, obviously we all know why they were doing that. They're trying to clearly provoke the illegal immigrant population, because they're all Hispanic. I mean, solid majority of them are Hispanic. Trying to get on their level. Look, I'm just like you. I can speak Spanish. We're at an American debate here. But it's okay, I can speak Spanish. I can go on live TV and have a full conversation in Spanish. While half the viewers, more than half probably, are sitting there like, what the hell is going on? I know when it happened. When Beto O'Rourke did that, I was like, this guy's a freaking idiot. Wow, I already knew exactly what he was doing. He was pandering, insulting to the Hispanic community, to be quite frank with you. Insulting as hell. Cory Booker doing the same thing. He looked at him like, man, you stole my idea. What the hell? And Julian Castro, the Hispanic guy up there, didn't say a lick in Spanish that I can recall. So you see, they're all out to bait their voters. The dumbest ones. They think you're so stupid, you won't catch them in plain sight. And some people look at that and be like, look how inclusive they are. Wow, they're so smart. They can speak 2 languages. Cry me a river. Such a joke. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Justin Comer. I'm the Justin Comer Show. You can find me in the Oversight on Facebook. I just wanted to do a quick 15-minute little broadcast here about my opinions on the Democrat race and what's going to come forward and what they did and just my views on stuff. Just to let you know how I felt. Because this is only the start, and it's going to get even more and more radical from here. Like, subscribe, and share my videos. Please spread the word. It's a big deal. We're going to make some huge changes here. And this is the time to do it. This is the perfect time to do it. We're going to run out of time soon, and eventually they're going to win if we don't get off our asses and really do something about this. So please, spread the message, spread the word, and believe in liberty. Believe in what the founders wanted. Believe in what we're doing. Don't follow the left-right paradigm, because even the right's wrong sometimes. Follow your own thoughts. Get the common sense, read up on the knowledge, and do it yourself. I'm Justin Comer. Spread my broadcast.